Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Switch It Up Show. My name is Glenn, and I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Seth Trav. Seth Trav, how the heck are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I got a bunch of great stuff today, and even more great news from the Nintendo Direct.
Oh, absolutely, my man. Well, luckily, here on the Switch It Up Show, we are bringing you the best reviews that we can. A double feature as normal. In fact, I think you actually had the fortune to play the same game I did, as well as one of your own.
That's true. Today, we are going to be talking about the Glass Masquerade.
Ooh.
Glass Masquerade, which you can see the first few puzzles of on our YouTube channel by going over to www.preach.us, clicking that YouTube link. And I got to play a nice little throwback to the Wii Sports days in Instant Tennis.
Oh, by chance is that featured on our YouTube as well?
It is, in fact, and you can see me struggling to play with my concussion and some Batman pajama pants.
Oh, wonderful. And I'm actually going to go ahead and save you guys a few keystrokes. Check the description of the episode where you'll find the link to both of those games in the eShop as well as the YouTube. But sit back, relax, and enjoy these sweet tunes. Man, I'm telling you, it gets more difficult every single week that we do this show.
The more we hear of it, the better the tune is.
That's it, man. I don't recommend driving while listening to that. You'll drive right off the road. You'll break every speed limit.
That's right. You know it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, starting this review off, we're going to go ahead and do the Glass Masquerade first. Allow me to go ahead and give you a little idea about the synopsis. It is a relaxing puzzle game with beautiful Art Deco jigsaws. Welcome to Glass Masquerade, an artistic puzzle game inspired by Art Deco and stained glass artisans of the 20th century. Combine hidden glass pieces to unveil clocks and themes exhibited by various cultures of the world and the International Times Exhibition, an interactive electronic show. 25 beautiful and intricately designed stained glass jigsaw puzzles to complete. You can journey around the world. Each puzzle is inspired by a different country. It features Art Deco mosaics and a presentation to give the game a distinct visual style. Relaxing gameplay provides a calming experience. There's no time limits and no stress. Soothing atmospheric soundtrack by Russian composer Nikita Salinov. You like that? First try.
Nikita
Salinov. Finish the game and replay the puzzles to improve your completion times. The interface supports for the following language: English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Japanese, Korean, Portuguese, Brazil, Russian, simplified Chinese, and traditional Chinese. Ladies and gentlemen, this game is available on the Nintendo eShop as of February the 8th, so it's been around for almost a week at this point as of this recording. It is $11.99 on the Nintendo eShop, and as it turns out, you don't get any gold coins when you purchase this one, but that is A-okay with me. Now, I've actually done a few different puzzle games here on the Switch It Up Show. I normally don't play too many of the RPGs. I try to save them for Mr. Seth Trav. I like some of the little quicker to play type games. So I thought this one would.
I'm a long form guy.
That's it, my man. I thought
dig in for 90 hours of my life.
You gotta be ready. That's right, devote it all. But I thought this one would be a little bit more up my alley, and I was correct. When we first put in the request to be able to review this game here on the Switch It Up Show, I think what really caught my eye was the graphics and the visual aspect of this game. The stained glass is absolutely beautiful. It's really, really great looking. Every single puzzle that you do on here you're just gonna be kind of taken aback by how great everything looks.
That's a fact.
Like, I mean, I remember when I first saw this in the eShop, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I definitely want to play
But
it.
it's pretty.
Yeah, it is gorgeous, and it's really one of the more unique ways, I feel like, to be able to present like a pretty simple game, because essentially it's just a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that the game, the pieces are arranged on the sides of the screen, almost like in a gold. Like if you played GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, like how the health bars would kind of like scoop up around the screen. That's where all the pieces are, and they kind of like rotate through, and you can grab them. And it took me a little while to figure out how exactly they had to fit into the puzzle itself. There's these weird little hooks, almost like you're hanging, almost like what would be on a Christmas ornament, like these little like loops that you have to click, and then you drag it over onto the puzzle and kind of match up the hoop with the location on the puzzle. That took me a little bit to kind of like figure out, because I kept trying to figure out like where I'm putting these pieces, but once I made that connection, I was able to go through and start completing puzzles. This is a little bit more difficult than your traditional jigsaw puzzle game, I personally think. There is a lot of, especially when you first start trying to put the puzzle together and you're starting off with some of the beginning pieces, because it's such a mix mash of that stained glass type color and aesthetic, a lot of things kind of look the same, and it's kind of sometimes difficult to figure out exactly what the puzzle is a picture of as you first start, because normally when you're doing a jigsaw puzzle, it's like a photograph. And it's easy to be like, okay, this is a castle. Like, I'm going to start putting this stuff together. But in this game, it's a little more detailed. It looks great, but I feel like because it looks so good, it's almost like a step up in the terms of difficulty. But the gameplay is very simplistic. This is a puzzle type game in the plainest sense of it's a very pretty jigsaw stained glass puzzle game. I really did enjoy it. I'm sure there's going to be more DLC for this game as time goes by. I don't see why they wouldn't add more puzzles. I think it's really cool that each one is inspired by a different country, and they all have their own theme based on that. So you really get to like travel the world as you go through. And 25.
They're unique, right?
Yeah.
A little weird at times.
Oh, super.
Like the American one, I was like, it's going to be a bald eagle. No, it was like a couple skyscrapers in the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, it's like the New York City skyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a kind of sun thing going on behind it. And that's the one interesting thing about this game, is that as you build these puzzles, the entire time you're sitting there and it's like, is it going to be a donkey? It's never a donkey. It's always something wild and just sort of, I don't know, mythical about the places, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's very interesting the way they have you build these things, and sort of to your point, it is hard in that you don't know what you're working towards. But that's also part of the joy that I was getting out of it, was just always being like, oh wow, this is supposed to be America? Ugh.
Yeah, this is in fact like a simple game, but what makes it more difficult is just the fact that these puzzles are harder because of the stained glass, but you're rewarded, I feel like, for your efforts. But that being said, if you do enjoy traditional puzzle type games and putting them together, and you want a different challenge and just a different aesthetic, this is probably right up your alley. This one I feel like is it's hard to give a score to. I'm gonna give it a 4. I did enjoy it, but really the main reason I'm giving this a 4 is because of the graphics. The gameplay isn't bad or anything like that, but the graphics in this they're beautiful. Everything looks great. That's what I enjoyed most about this. So if you want a relaxing game that looks really pretty, this is definitely up your alley, and that's The Glass Masquerade for $11.99 on the Nintendo eShop.
I dig it. I definitely dig it. Something else I actually dug,
Yes, sir.
interestingly enough, was Instant Tennis. Anyone? Haha. No, it's just Instant Tennis. It is $8.99 when you get it on the Nintendo eShop. Instant Tennis, easy to pick up, fun to play. Instant Tennis, instant fun. Easy to pick up with motion controls. Swing the Joy-Con like a tennis racket. Fun to play with family and friends. 1 player in solo mode or 2 players in versus mode. Turn-based tournaments with up to 8 players, 3 game modes, 9 courts, and 19 characters. It is by Break First Games, and it is available now. So, if you played Wii Sports which I'm sure a lot of us did. We all knew somebody that had it, or you had it yourself. We're Nintendo fanboys. We were playing around with the Wiimote, digging the hell out of Wii Tennis or Wii Bowling. It was like one of the two. I rarely did the baseball, but this is
Baseball
very
is awesome.
very. What's that?
Baseball was awesome. You're crazy.
I was rarely doing it.
Bowling was good,
You know, I feel like baseball, you needed to have more people than just two. A lot of the time, I don't know. That was my vibe. I feel like you needed the whole team. You needed the squad. That was a squad system. I got a cat meowing in here now. It's my mother's cat. Beautiful, beautiful animal. Check me out on Instagram at SethTrav. See photos of this cat. She is grumpy looking. So back to the tennis, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot like Wii Tennis. It's very much a spiritual successor. Where it does better than a Wii Tennis is that it has more unlockables, more unlockable characters, more reasons to keep playing. Interesting graphically. I feel like it's a little better graphically than Wii Tennis, just because the characters are more detailed and the environments are also more detailed. That being said, it's not as fluid as I would necessarily like it to be. And at first I was thinking that, hey, it's just my Joy-Cons. It's just how far away I am from the actual system. No, it actually turns out that everyone is having this issue with the game. So it's not just me. But it's really not fluid when you move. Your characters don't respond with the immediacy that you would expect them to, and the quickness that you would get out of, say, Wii Sports, things like that. Because I stand there and I start flailing my racket around expecting to see it move, and it's kind of on a little bit of a delay, which really brings it down for me, because this is supposed to be a motion-controlled tennis game. So this is another one of those situations where I want to say that with a patch, there's no reason this wouldn't be like a 5 out of 5 tennis game. But because it is sort of slow on the uptake and a little bit, difficult because of that, I'm going to give it a 3.5. Again, great that it has so many levels, so many environments, and so many characters to unlock. Do any of them feel any different? Do any of them do anything different? No. It's a motion-controlled tennis game without supers or anything like that. So you have what you have. And because it's just not as fluid as I'd like it to be, 3.5 out of 5.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with a 3.5 out of 5. That's still a decent game.
Yeah, and you know what? I would honestly suggest to pick it up because it is only $8.99, and we don't have Wii Tennis on the Switch yet. We don't have an official Nintendo tennis game. So absolutely, go out, get it. Let me know what you think. Get at us at Switch It Up Show, at Preachcast, at SethTrav, and our boy Glenn at From the Crypt.
Yo, I would totally buy. Like, I don't know how much I would spend. Probably more than I care to admit. But if they released like Wii Sports remastered for like the Switch and called it like Switch Sports or something like that, I'd pay.
Dude, absolutely I would, because that was so much fun. I could bowl any day of the week. I would love it. I would probably like a Wii Fit type thing on the Switch. You know how I dig the yoga? Hold both Joy-Cons in your hands, do the sun salutations, all that.
Hey man, you know what too? Like, I don't know if you can. You probably can pair the Wiimote with the Switch. I believe they're Bluetooth. So like, I wonder if you can do that. Like, that'd be awesome if they came out and they like remastered it and they were like, oh, and by the way, like all your Wiimotes like work.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
that would be great.
Because you got to give them that. Like, if you have the GameCube controller adapter, you can use your GameCube controllers. I'm using my wireless GameCube controller with my Switch. Like,
that's pretty ballsy.
That thing is super old, and it's like, yep, works immediately. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. That would be sweet. But
it's a beautiful thing.
The Wii was a good time, man. So anything to bring it back, like, I'd be happy.
You're out there with the GameCube controller, and yet you're still not smashing.
Not yet, my man. Waiting to catch a good deal on that. But luckily, here on the Switch It Up Show, we specialize in checking out all these awesome little indie titles for you to let you know whether or not it's a good deal. Because, if you run into a game and it's really not that great, remember, you can always switch it up.